Notice over here, notice is hereby given of regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the district to be held at 105 Court Road, Port Isabel, Texas, on the 22nd day of August 2018 at the hour of 5:30 p.m. for consideration of the business of the agenda below. This notice is posted at the office of the district on August 17, 2018 at 2 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551-041-551-050, not less than 72 hours prior to the time of the said meeting. This is a continuation meeting from the workshop. We do have the presence of a quorum. All 5 board members are present at this time. We've already done the invocation, the pledge. At this time, item 3 is an invitation to the audience for public comment. That includes the staff and the board. If anyone would like to come discuss, make a comment, say something, you're more than welcome. We encourage.
Which one? Both?
Yeah, the red light.
I'll just try and speak loud.
Yes.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm Adam Lalonde. I represent the golf course, and we had the pleasure of doing this 2 months ago, and we find ourselves here again. And I just want to sort of reiterate to you guys, part of what we talked about last time was that the value of the golf course is intrinsically tied to the value of the homes in our neighborhood, and our availability to access the raw water at a reasonable rate gives us the opportunity to grow the golf course, grow the value of the homes on the golf course and around the golf course, attract more people down to this lovely South Texas. When I was looking 12 years ago where to live, probably like most of the people in this room, there's a lot of people that are not from Texas that live in Texas. And I came down here because of, a reasonable tax structure, good cost of living. When I got out of dental school, I was like $1 million in debt. I think I'm only $500,000 in debt, so some of my patients, we may be doing a couple more crowns. But there's a lot of things that attract me to Texas. One of them is we have a government in Texas that understands that governing less means governing more. It means giving more back to the people. And a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to sit with Governor Abbott. Ended up getting invited to a little shindig, and one of the things that he told us was Texas is only as strong as its businesses, and I really believe that. And I really believe that the golf course and the community they're so tied together that we have to get enough water to keep our grass green to get more people coming down. So there's been a lot of discussion over the past year about what is the real raw water rate, and that has sort of fluctuated between 55 cents and 80 cents in that time frame. And I hope we're able to come up with one number that as golf course owners we can budget around. One number that also lets us water the grass as often as we need to so that we have a green golf course instead of a yellow golf course. The yellow golf course means less people are going to move down here. And we took a good step after June, and so I'd just like to ask that we continue to take that step. Everybody might not know that your staff and Representative Lucio, your council, met with us, and we had a really positive discussion, and I think we made some good progress. And so I hope from today we can continue that progress. And last year in October, there was a motion passed that said at 55 cents, but also to come up with a long-term contract. And we want a long-term contract. Let's lock something in for 5 years that lets us budget so we can pay our employees just like you guys have to budget. You got a lot of expenses. I see that. We all know that. So I just would like to thank you guys for the opportunity for us to talk up here. And we'd like to continue working together until we hammer this out. And that's what everybody here is for. There's a lot of people want to do a lot more stuff than hang out at a water board meeting. I think that's pretty honest. So the sooner we come to agreement, the happier everyone's going to be, and you guys can go back to having like 3 people in the room. 3 meetings. All right?
We encourage and welcome everyone to our meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else like to add something? It includes the board, it includes our staff. Anyone else like to add anything before we close this item? Yes, please come and state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wilson. I live in Laguna Vista. I just have a question just on our water quality itself, the drinking water. And I know this is all budget and everything, but since it's a water meeting, I thought I'd ask, is there things in place that will improve the quality of the drinking water? Because I know, from testing I've seen, when we get the notices, it's not safe for drinking. We're supposed to use filtered water. And I'm concerned having a child in the schools, they use these water fountains. You know, when he goes in public, he uses water fountains, and I'm concerned that it's not safe for him to be consuming, and unfortunately, he's special needs, so he does not understand when I'm like, don't drink it, don't drink it. And so I'm just curious what the progress is on that.
This is not really a question and answer, but we appreciate your comments, and that's what this is, our comments at a
Okay.
time.
All right.
But we have acknowledged and received, and we can go forward from there.
By law, we can't answer.
Huh?
By
Yes.
law, we
No,
can't
no.
answer.
Okay, that's fine.
No, but I appreciate the comment, this is comments only.
Okay.
Is there anything else for discussion or anything? Comments? Okay. I'd like to move forward and thank you for everyone for their time and comments. Moving to item number 5. Item 4, consider and discuss for possible approval the minutes of the workshop meeting on August 7th, 2018. So everyone had a chance to review those. Any questions, comments, or changes? Motion made for approval by Mr. Avalos,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Houston. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are.
I abstain.
For the record,
I abstain, I wasn't there.
For the record, R. Wells and D. Wells abstain. I vote in favor, I attended, so motion passes, thank you. Moving to item number 5, consider and discuss for possible approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on August 8th, 2018. Any comments, suggestions, changes?
I move to approve.
Motion for approval by D. Wells, seconded by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are, none opposed, motion carries. For the record, R. Wells abstains. Motion does approve and carry. Moving to item number 6, executive session permitted by the Open Meetings Act VTCA Government Code Section 551001 et sequence under Section 551071, consultation with attorney, report from regarding district's legal counsel regarding meeting negotiations with legal counsel representing the Buena Vista Golf Course Homeowners Association. At this time, we need a motion to go into executive session at 5:39 p.m.
So moved.
Motion made by R. Wells. Seconded by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. We will go into executive session. Anyone need a recess or break? We'll immediately resume to executive session. If I can please ask everyone to step out of the room. We'll carry on with executive session. Thank you. Need a motion to come out of executive session at 6:06 p.m.
So moved.
Motion made by R. Wells, seconded by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. We are out of executive session. Moving on to item number 7, consider an action on executive session items if necessary. Need a motion to proceed as directed by legal.
Council
Need
proceed as
a
directed.
motion to proceed as directed by council. Motion made by Mr. Avalos,
Second.
seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. I'd like a motion to move item number 15 up to the next agenda item.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Houston,
Second.
seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. Item 15, consider and discuss for possible approval of water, wastewater, and raw water rates and financial plan resolution number 163-08-18. Is there a motion? Motion dies for lack of, action dies. There's no action for lack of a motion. Can't get a second. So we will go back to item number 8, general manager's report.
So clarification.
Yes.
These folks
There's no
deserve
action.
clarification is that, following executive session, we're just not going to take this on right now. So procedurally, as an agenda item, we're just not going to bring it up. We could table it, but that just brings it on in 2 weeks, and we're not ready for it. So we're just not ready to proceed on this agenda item today. We have no.
Stays the same.
The interim is short-term. I guess, council,
I don't
can
know
we
if
speak?
Discuss all that.
Can we address the public at this point in the meeting?
Discuss all that.
Since we're not in public comment, it's not advised.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, we're not in public comment. There is no motion and no action, so we'll continue to move on with item number 8, which is a general manager report, executive update. Carlos is not here. Belinda's, Mary. How are you?
Chairman and members of the board, we're going to go ahead and provide an update on the installation of the executive time system on behalf of Mr. Galvan. I will go through some items that we have already completed, and I will tell you where we are in the process. The scope of work provided by executive time is a 6-month period. We have previously completed the welcome packet. We had already the kickoff meeting. We completed a questionnaire requested by executive time and completed the integration specification, which is the overall planning. We had a meeting to review the questionnaire with executive time and completed the hardware and integration planning meeting. During this phase, we discussed the needs for Laguna Madre Water District to be integrated into executive time, as well as develop the executive time user interface for payroll and human resources,
Minnie, can you keep the door open, please? Thank you. Excuse me.
such as codes used in our payroll process, benefits, and employee information input by executive time. We are currently at the hardware and data integration phase, which is the adaptive security appliance, router connection for time clocks to connect executive time software into the main office. The clocks and the cables are being installed at each designated location already. In this same phase is where we compare the data that executive time has recorded with our actual information, such as benefits, employee count, and department, to assure that the integration is accurate. Discrepancies have been found, and communication with executive time is ongoing to assure discrepancies are being corrected before signing off and accepting this phase. The next phase will last about 2 months of completion and deployment of the executive time. Orlando, would you like to add anything?
I mean, unless do you have any questions about, as far as the technical standpoint, as far as to where the equipment is at?
Okay, well, we just wanted to give you an update on how the process is going.
So you think we're about 2 months away from?
Yes, we are on time. We're not behind. We are trying to make sure that all information that we already provided is accurate according to the information that we have to avoid any difficulties in the future.
Thank you.
Did y'all discuss the software that you, sorry, I had to step out.
Yes.
Did y'all discuss the software that you're stuck in 2003?
That we start in 2003.
The software you're using, is that outdated? You're using trying to bring up outdated software up to speed to where you can use this time keeping process?
The executive time is not updated, and it's
No, it's not the executive time, but the software that you're trying to integrate with that we're in.
Inco.
And you're 2003, you're so way back there that's causing a lot of the problem.
I understand it was 2009.
The encode? I thought I saw 2003.
Yeah, Richard said y'all are trying to deal with 2003, and so this is why you're just not meshing together. I thought when we were doing this thing, wow, we're gonna be up and running pretty quick. 6 months, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's, what it is the project scope is up to 6 months. It's not that we're running into delays, it's that the project itself is broken down into different phases. And this project that they gave us, the scope is 6
Okay,
months.
okay, but on our end, we're dealing with some antiquated software and
Right.
problems, and, you're
Right.
trying to do, and then what was he saying, the VPN or something like that? Don't do that because, am I do the right terminology there?
Yes, sir, you're using the right term.
You do not do that because we've been down that road before, because that's just more of a unsecure portal into the system.
Yes, sir.
That the district, I understand, in the past ran into some issues with that.
Yes, sir.
So that's being safeguarded, that, we're protecting the security of the district on the software integrity. Thank you. Sorry, guys. needed to. throw that
Are
in.
we moving on? Okay. Any other comments, questions? Thank you. Moving on to item number 9, district engineers report.
I guess the first item is just an update on water plant 2 slush field. We are dewatering. It's going pretty good, trying it out. So we'll maybe looking at having a dried out lagoon versus that long arm, dip it into a wet lagoon and trying to pull out what's underwater. So basically, we're still at the point of trying to kick off that permit from TCQ to the waste pile. Probably just to stay in budget. We're just going to be.
How are you dewatering it?
Just a good sized pump. We've got a pump for the wastewater.
Did you just go ahead and create a little slurry pit and then just pumping it out?
Yeah, pretty much. I think between hay bales or just some kind of.
What's that?
How are we dewatering to where we're staying ahead of the
Oh,
water?
we had begun to use just gravel, right? We put gravel inside a bucket, submerged it, and put the 4-inch pump there. We began dewatering it like that, and then we got a pump, a bigger pump, 6-inch pump from the wastewater department, and
You're able to pick up the flow and maintain a flow with the system
Yes.
you're using? That's good.
yeah.
And so you're actually able to just do that at certain points along the pond, so,
Well,
you're.
we actually just picked one point where we believe that we could get the most out of, and we kind of made little channels to that section, and we got pretty far.
But essentially, you're gonna have to reach all corners of that to dry it out faster, to be able to take and dewater that pond. So if you have one pickup point, you're trying to dewater from the opposite side of the pond, you gotta pull all that water through, but if you have that much flow going, you're doing good.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
really good.
at this point, it's pretty much, done. We're just letting it sit, and we've got just, minimal amounts of water in the center, and we're just letting it sit. It looks like it's continuing to go down, so.
Yeah.
Is it getting solid enough to walk on?
No, it's not gonna get solid enough to walk on.
It's
gonna
not.
I think it'll still, we should probably recommend another round of getting the long arm excavator out there. Just to
Not
check.
till you have terra firma, not till you have something that you can really pick up to do that. Before we go there, give me options of other methods do other options to do that. But, the more you can dewater it, and we talked about, or I suggested before, that, you put in a series of well points.
Well, the well points,
yeah,
we had to, the well points weren't working, and so we had to change up to this other method.
I get that, because they're just too fine, and that silt's too much, and just plugs them up. So at some point, just get your backhoe out there when it's deep enough or firm enough, if you can, to kind of just dig some holes out.
We're supposed to be starting that, I don't know how soon, right? Just depends how fast that dries up. But that was one of our ideas, to get going with the backhoe and get as far as we can, but.
Y'all brought it to us that this was a dire emergency, that we had to get that done, so
It has to be done. And
exercise all activities you can.
Yeah, our project code just shifted to in-house, let's get it done already. So,
Yeah, we cannot stress that enough, how important it is to get that cleaned out and start
Okay.
redirecting that water back away from that reservoir.
And so all I'm saying is, if it works in one spot, go ahead and put another one on the other side of the pond. Or, get it, do whatever you can to get that water out of there as soon as possible, to where you can dry it out enough that we can actually move that material. Is that possible?
Well, we're gonna give it our best go.
Do you have more than one pump?
We had 2 pumps out there, a 4-inch and a 6-inch pump. At this point, there's not much more to pump out, and we're not gonna be able to.
How about
put
on the
those-
other side of the pond?
We can use that equipment for
Uh,
the
we-
project.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
So you got
get
most of the water then?
you a diaphragm
Most of the
pump. Is
water's
this a
gone.
diaphragm pump
Yeah,
you're working
most of the
with,
water's
or
gone. We're
not?
gonna have to see what we can.
What kind of, are you familiar with the type of pump we're using?
It's not a Bowman Road portable pump.
Just a centrifugal force pump, it's not a diaphragm pump?
No, centrifugal force.
Yeah, like basically using the wastewater.
Do you still have the vac truck?
The 4 inches is similar, but it's not.
Y'all still have the vac truck we rented?
No, sir.
No, sir? Okay. I'm taking no time on this, thank you.
So the second item is the water rights and ground contingency revisions. Just, the water rights is an update. We're doing real good progress with closing on our sale. We're requiring that additional, we should be closing and clearing up here within a month. So our schedule is to get those additional water rights in place here before the end of the fiscal year. And at the same time, our balance at Falcon and Amistad is, at the time where they did their monthly water masters report, they had taken, a drop of 145 acre feet, which is the 1%. So we've already been getting our water prorated or restricted. So our authorized amount is down to 7132. And just in the past couple of other reports, for the reservoir is already down to 45.82%. So we're going to lose another, 300 acre feet in our authorization. That's how quick it falls down. And so basically.
Well, don't say that too quietly.
Yes, the proposed.
You need to
language-
shout that.
Right. So I mean, just kind of the second part in your backup here is the language that's in the raw water agreement, but we're proposing to include that in our drought emergency contingency plan, and basically put it as part of our stage 2 triggers.
Let's take some time for the full board to kind of get some input on this proposal before it ever goes anywhere. Recommendations, and then have legal review it also.
To what extent, I don't follow.
A lot of it's pretty much generic from the state, but,
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, but it's,
Yeah,
but
the
it,
red language in your backup, those are the modifications, the revisions to what's already in our existing plan that's approved by the resolution.
Yes.
So we would need a resolution to add.
But we need-
raw water.
there's some specific areas that are in red that deals with certain places that we need to make sure that we're correct with. And even back into definitions.
Well, help me out, I don't.
Okay, and.
Oh, you're talking about.
The contingency plan,
Okay.
ration plan, and just update your definitions to include everybody.
Yes, keyword. Include everybody, yes.
That's all that.
Yes, correct, thank you.
More discussion on that?
Russell, thank you.
The next item. So I guess the last one on the engineer's report is just the wastewater treatment plant modifications. We did have our startup on the headworks, and we did take basin 1 offline. So we drained it and got to see the last location where we have unforeseen events and unknowns. And there was extra concrete, unknown walls, some hidden, hoppers, I don't know what to call it, basically some extra concrete that they didn't get poured. But, I mean, it's nothing major, so we should be in good shape, run the home stretch basically on our sewer plant construction to finish it out without, any surprise change order requests coming in, calling on DW basically. So that's the update on the sewer plant. But that concludes the engineer's report.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Charles. Moving forward to 10, Director of Operations report, Robert.
Yes, so for the month of July, the service calls for customer service and distribution totaled 190. And they went into the different categories that are there. I don't know if you have any questions on those. And the collection had calls of 33, and it went into the different categories that we mentioned there.
These categorizations, are they the same this year as they were the prior year? In other words, if you went to 2017, you could pull up a report that detailed every one of these?
They should be, and they're all coming out of inquiry. And customer service is the one that takes the calls. They categorize those calls as they come in, give them either to the distribution, or they handle themselves there in the office, or they give it to collections.
Are you comparing by year to year?
Well,
How we
what
compare?
I'd like to see is at the end of the budget year is a comparison of 2017 to 2018 of what types of calls,
Okay?
using these categories. If it's available to us, just to see, if there's a trend, if it's down, if it's up. You see what
Are
I'm
you
saying?
asking to compare year by year?
Yeah.
Okay, because I started the ones for this year, and I have a spreadsheet where I started entering every month.
That's why I was asking, do you have the same
This
delineation?
year I do. I
But
would
not
need to
yet-
go back
not
to
last year.
2017 also.
Oh, okay.
And we'd discussed earlier, another meeting, that you would also retain this information so we can use it for comparison of the new meter system to see
Exactly.
if
Yes,
there's
sir, you
some
did.
improvements.
Yes, that's
And
great.
and that's why I've started
That's
that,
great.
this spreadsheet on month to month, and it's all in the same spreadsheet. Okay, moving on to the next item, an update on the meter contract with Ferguson. I gave you a summary of what happened at that meeting. I did fail to mention one other area that was represented, and I'm sorry, I apologize for that, but the IT person was there as well as everybody else, finance, customer service, distribution, purchasing, warehousing, safety, and administration.
And the board.
And you left out
And the
Alex.
board, I'm sorry.
Alex.
We did have a representative from the board, absolutely. Yeah, and basically what they started off with is they're looking at building the MI host, which is cloud-based, the database is cloud-based, and they're looking at getting all the meters and locations of all the meters set up in that database. And eventually, once they get that database complete, they're going to get the interface with Encode. And Encode will have the same information. What we'll be able to do is go up to the database and look at what they have, and if there's anything that needs to be corrected there, primarily because that database is going to be talking to Encode. And once everything is squared away, then we do the billing through Encode. Once all of that is done, they anticipate that taking around a couple of months. They're looking at, initially they had said mid to latter part of October. And talking with Karen a couple of days ago, she thinks it can be done a little earlier. She was talking about early October, maybe mid-October, as far as them completing that with the integration to Encode. After that, we'll have another meeting, and again, that's when they're gonna bring the other company that's gonna be doing the install at the island, and we'll set a plan where we'll come up with a team or two. I'm looking at trying to get formulate two teams to shadow the people at the island, and also try and get some of these items fixed that they are going to need, such as uncovering some of these buried meters, making holes if we can into the meter boxes where they have this little coder that goes in there through the hole. So we want to take care of small items like that to help us, because from my understanding that this company is coming in, if they have to go through any problems like that, then they're going to charge us. For instance, the charge for just drilling a hole is like $6.
What?
Yes, $5.90, that's what they bid on.
Look, what we were sold on and what we're experiencing now.
Yeah, we're getting a nickel and dime.
Just like with the time clock. We buy a time clock system and now we're 6
Well,
months.
that's why we want to take care of
And we
all that.
bought a meter system, buying a meter system, sold to me that you buy the system, we sell you the meters, we come put them in, we put radio towers on your antennas up on your towers, we sell you the software, program at the Encode, and we're up and running.
I just hate all this nickel and dime.
So all of a sudden,
Drives me crazy.
we have an itinerary that I'm seeing next year.
Well, they're looking
Just ask
actually by
Karen
the
what
time-
the heck's going on.
By the time this project, well, I expected the same thing. I thought
And
it would
nickel
take
and
okay,
dime.
take 3, maybe 4 months at most, but.
Well, I'm not gonna,
They
I'm
said
not,
it
I'm
would
not,
take
I'm not gonna be happy with them coming in here with another company and they say, well, if we gotta dig up this, it's gonna cost you X amount of money. Get out of our way and let our people do it. Teach our people how to do it and get out of our way. And we'll do it ourselves.
And Karen is open to that. because I did talk to Mr.
Because that was a conversation we had at the time. Why do we need to pay y'all to do it? Well, that's part of our service that we're providing to you. That's what I was told. And that
And
we
all
need to
that
train,
is
and
bid.
yours people will be there, and it was in bidding, your people there will be to learn how to do this.
To get the wheels, the training.
Now
wheels
we
on.
got a third contractor coming in here, gonna charge us X amount of money if they have to dig a hole. Get out of our way. Let us get it in.
Sorry, that's very frustrating.
Yes, I understand. I know exactly where you're coming from. And I agree with you. But we are, like I said, we are going to go in there and try to do as much as we can. That's why, when I went through the agreement and I saw a lot of this, I figured that.
Let's use sorry to interrupt, let's use our manpower, our resources as we can, our normal routine, identify those potential problems that they've said could be a problem, and take care of them.
Yes, sir. Exactly. And Joel and I've been talking about it. Joel is very familiar with that.
Yeah.
He was here at the last
Yeah.
install, so he knows exactly what's happening. And like I said, we've been talking and we're trying to resolve some of these issues before they occur. So we want to be proactive and take care of some of these issues.
They didn't tell us about any issues when they were selling it to us. Just come in and
It's like buying a car
install
and
it.
taking a finance. You add one of these and add one of those and some of that and blah, blah. Next thing you know, it's.
The good thing is that, I think, the good thing is that Ken is open to that, to us learning what they're doing and we finish it up.
Yes. Karen
We
is
can
very
save some of that.
open to
Well,
that.
then just go on and do it.
Okay, let's keep on going.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. That really just concludes my report.
Thank you.
That's concerning.
Thank you, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Moving on forward to 11, Director of Finance Report. Eddie?
So I wanted to have a general discussion about appropriate use of fund balance. I know Mr. Houston had asked about how much money we had available for fund balance. So I want to begin with a report that we received a few months ago, which is our audit report. And the schedule that I have here shows what the fund balance has been for the past 10 years. And you can see that has fluctuated between $4.5 million to 6.3 in the last fiscal year. Now, the appropriate use of fund balance. So it's essential that all governments maintain adequate levels of fund balance to mitigate current and future risks, such as revenue shortfalls or unanticipated expenditures, responses to emergencies such as natural disasters, and having these funds helps to stabilize rates and the charges for service. So the basic idea is this is a prudential judgment as far as how much should be maintained for fund balance, and appropriate uses. In general, you would want to use fund balance as a one-time expense and have a plan for how you're going to replenish that if you fall below the amount that's established. So the Government Finance Officers Association recommends having a policy and that responds to our particular situation. So our main concern here for our district as a coastal community is the effect from hurricanes. So what is appropriate? I know among other coastal communities, we have anywhere from 6 months of fund balance to 12 months for some coastal communities. So if ours is approximately, $5 million is what we have of fund balance, and our revenues, annual revenues are about 10 million, so more or less we have about 6 months of fund balance. So is that a good number? Do we want it to be higher, or, I wouldn't feel comfortable having less than 6 months of fund balance. I think.
The more you have, the better the bond rating, the better credibility, it's a standard.
Correct.
But
And that is one of the measures
You
that.
you gave me a report recently, out of the $6.3 million, 4.5 of it was unrestricted. The other parts were restricted for this, were restricted for that. But 4.5 million was in the bank for you to do whatever we want to do with it, right?
Yeah.
My question to you was at that time, we're borrowing short-term from our fund balance anyway on these meters. My question to you at that time was, if I paid cash for those meters or if I finance those meters, what's the difference in cost? And I'm still waiting to see that. Simple question, should be a simple answer. And, if we have $4.5 million of unrestricted reserves, maybe we don't have 6 months, maybe we have 5 months. Now, can we get by with 3 if at the end of the year we can save $300,000 in interest and charges on this new loan?
What is the
Or more.
interest on those meters, sir?
Huh?
I don't even know. What is the interest on them? Anybody know?
Private placement.
In the private placement, right now, they're looking at about 3.75.
The
Anyway,
problem, and excuse me, I'm not cutting you off, but is if you have a hurricane today, and
Exactly.
we've got $2.5 million of that unfunded money
Right.
tied up on buying the meters today, the money we save is what's gonna drop us in big trouble in the future. But everything you're saying is a great point, but it's
All I
that
want to do,
if
all I want to
if
do
the
is see,
accident
all I want to do
happens
is,
today.
What
all I
if we
want
just
to do
put a
is,
big down payment down and didn't blow
I
it all?
just want to see the numbers.
Well, her point is a good one in that, what is the cost of doing this? And can we take and look at our unreserved fund balance to offset that and look at the upside, the total amount that we can save by, paying cash? And then the other part of the conversation is, what are we comfortable with a reserve fund balance? And you said no less than 6 months. I'm sitting here thinking, well, that would have to be a catastrophe that put the district out of business. And let's look in terms as if we were Rockport a year ago. And so what would happen there is it would just really destroy a lot of places so where they wouldn't have that revenue. Although we would not be out of business. And we would be gaining a lot of extra business because of the reconstruction. So short of an atomic bomb going off and blowing everything away, we're not going to be out of business. Even with a catastrophe, the only one that we would have would be a major hurricane. It may set us back, but I don't see us being out of business. So we can't say shut down for 6 months, we can survive. We'll never be shut down for 6 months from a revenue stream.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take into consideration that a lot of our business, the area of business has to do with tourism. And in that situation, tourism would take a huge hit. There's not going to be anybody in those hotel rooms, not a significant.
I'll give you my experience, that may be so, but I'll give you my experience, that may be so. And there would be a lot of those properties over there that would be really impacted. They may be shut for 6 months or so, but tourism will be coming back the next season with that.
So borrowing capacity, doing this to unable and incapable.
And that's something we need to consider if we're talking about it. But the valid point, how much, you said, I don't feel comfortable. Well, I'd like to have a little more input than just your feeling of that. There's no real standard there that requires, but, if we can get by with 5 months instead of 6 months and save a whole pocket full of money, I'd like to be able to consider that in the future as part of, consideration of what we're doing. Borrowing power is important, but If we don't have to borrow, we don't need the borrowing power.
I'm just.
Part of the, I think part of the, I think the question you need to ask yourself really is, because I understand paying cash. I pay cash for a lot of things, my credit is perfect, okay, because I have no revolving credit. So, having said that, you need to ask yourself if the decisions you're making are for the short term or for the long term. I will be gone from this seat one day, but I want to leave it in a better financial standing when I go. And using up the monies that I have in that short term is not the way to do it for me. I mean, I get it, I'm gonna save a lot of money, but I'm not improving my credit rating. I'm not doing anything for the future, because I'm using up the monies we have. So, to me, it's more important to make decisions based on the future, long after I'm gone here. and leave
I'm
this
comfortable with an
district.
8 to 12 month fund balance, because I
Yeah.
think that fund balance money is
You need
very
a minimum
important.
of 6.
And I know what you're saying, it's just that money in the bank, and it's a very gray area, and everything is very valid. It's just, when the catastrophe comes, it can be 2 weeks from today, and we're shut down for, I mean, we run that risk of 2 weeks from
The
today
reason-
being shut down for
The reason that we're
6
paying a
months
lot of
or a year
interest-
without any income,
And
or
we'll get FEMA
limited
some help.
income.
Yeah, the reason that we're paying a lot of interest is because we're borrowing at a higher rate.
Okay, then the other thing that we have, sorry, my other 2 cents is, we have to take in consideration, we've built up a reserve, so what I was told when we came on, a lot of that is because we've taken and neglected things that needed to be done. And we're having to come back and make catch up on what we didn't fix before. So we're kind of, we have to balance ourselves, we want to raise a great big fund balance, but at the same time, we're taking and not taking care of the infrastructure that needs to be taken care of with those funds,
Yeah.
just because we want more money in the bank.
And I totally agree with that, but by the same token, though, our projects are not small projects. These are massive projects. And I would prefer to go to the voters and ask for money when I have money also to contribute, and not just borrow the whole thing. I get that, but we need to build it up. $5 million is nothing for the amount of projects we have,
Well,
so.
remember, we're borrowing from the fund.
This, yeah, we're
already.
borrowing, yeah.
But
We can always borrow against it.
But my point is, I can't make a decision because I don't know what the numbers are. All I've asked
That's a
Eddie,
different story,
all I've
yes.
asked Eddie was to
Yes.
give us the dollars and cents of doing it one way or the other.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
problem,
there's nothing wrong with that, but, really, you have to think about, do I want to make decisions for the short term or the long term? That's really what we're talking about.
Robert?
yes, sir. The problem when borrowing from the fund balance is that you're not going to replenish it in 2 to 3 years. It's taken us 53 years to get where we're at now.
Take the one.
And the loan that we're looking at is a 10-year loan. So it's not really short-term. The other side of that is that by lowering the fund balance, it's going to reduce our debt ratio. And that is very important when you start looking at floating bonds, as we're looking at right now for that $5.4 million.
Give me the numbers. We can talk in generalities, but I want to see the numbers.
Yes, sir.
I agree. I agree. I think you have board consensus on that.
Yes. Please deliver the numbers.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments, questions?
Thank you for a good report.
Thank you, Ed. I thank you for the workshop, too. It's the first one, and you're welcome to take it. Training wheels are off. Moving to item number 12, consider and discuss for possible approval a resolution following an election of the Board of Directors of the Laguna Madre Water District, establishing a date for the election and designating polling places, resolution number 162-08-18.
We need to go through all that, why don't we just approve it?
Yes, sir. What I have here is a resolution in order to have the election for the board
Yes.
at this point. And I'm asking for the board to approve this resolution. It stipulates the places, the voting places, and also the dates and the date of the election, and as well as the early voting date.
Okay, can we clarify all that so everyone knows where and what
The early voting will take place from October 22nd to November the 2nd.
Where?
And that will be at Port Isabel City Hall and South Padre Island City Hall. Those are the two voting places that or voting precincts that the county has elected at this point. The regular voting, which is November the 6th, will be at all 4 stations, which will include Laguna Vista and the high school, Laguna Heights.
And that's for all of the elections are gonna be held that same standard?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, just wanna know, that we're not missing
For the regular,
regular election, I don't wanna be missing, make sure we're in all the places.
only two locations for the old area.
So the counties set the polling places.
Well, yes, sir, they do, and they're approved by the county, or the county commissioners. That, I would like to back up here a second. These are not the only 2 places for early voting. You can vote in any precinct that's open within the county. If you're out in La Feria or.
For the water district, if I'm in La Feria on business or something like
Well,
it. Stop
they
Vote
voting.
at TSTC, at any designated voting precinct they have open.
They'll have
But they won't have those ballots.
Yes, it will.
They'll have the ballot at every place in Cameron County. If I go to La Feria, they'll have ballots for this.
The designated precincts that the county has selected, yes, they will, for early voting only.
But that's not on our,
Yes,
That'll be a neat trick.
and
I'm gonna go
the
try it.
deadline
I'll buy
for,
lunch.
the deadline for filing was this Monday, the 20th. However, we're still open for write-in candidates, which is the deadline on Friday. But we did contact the 4 individuals that we are having a placement poll. They will be able to vote, or excuse me, to draw as to see what place in the ballot they will be in, and we turn that in to the county by Friday afternoon.
What time is the deadline for write-in candidate?
It's at 5 o'clock Friday.
And you're having polling drawn at 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
So how does that work?
The write-in candidates are not in the
They're not
ballot.
on the ballot.
Not in a ballot.
No, you actually have to write them in.
All right, that makes it, sorry. Can we just make a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dewell for approval, second by Mr. Houston. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are, none opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to 13, consider and discuss for possible award of vacuum truck purchase. This item has been asked to be tabled. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I get a motion to table this
Motion.
item?
Wait a minute, wait. Tabled? I thought y'all were gonna,
No, I'm sorry, this will be a no action.
No
action.
No action, yes.
So, still have to call it. Consider and discuss for possible award of vacuum truck purchase. Is there a motion?
Was this a budgeted item?
Yes.
there's
Motion, no motion?
No motion, no action, no
No
motion,
action.
no action. Moving to
motion,
item.
take no action.
Take motion, take no action.
Need a second for that?
Need a second?
Second.
First made by Dewell, second by Mr. Houston. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Moving to 14, consider discuss for possible ratification of payment on back on truck repairs.
I think we better do that, so I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Sinaga to discuss it. A motion made by Arwell.
Okay.
Seconded by Mr. Houston. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 16, consider and review expenditures for August 1 through 15, 2018. Anyone have any questions or anything in particular or anything? If not, just need a
Move to
Make a
accept.
motion to acknowledge.
motion to
Acknowledge,
acknowledge, made by
acknowledge.
Mr.
Yep,
Houston,
that's right.
seconded by Dewell. So all those in favor?
Aye.
We are. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned at 6:48 PM. Thank you for everyone for your time, dedication, and the water district.